Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another episode of our Faction Wars series. It's actually a sub-series that we do of our free-to-play series we call Free Smiles, and it's basically where we tackle every single faction stage 21, beating it for the first time, getting 3 stars on our 100% free-to-play account. Now, we are going to be going without the webcam today, and I do apologize for my rather raspy voice. I'm dealing with the cold at the moment that I'm still recovering from, but today we're going to be going over the Bannerlords faction, and I'm going to be showcasing you how I beat it with the champions that I have once again on my 100% free-to-play account. Now, when it comes to Bannerlords, there's a lot of great champions you can get here to use for this faction, and I do want to go over some of them just to give you a little brief of champions you can potentially use if you have them or whatnot. Now, the first one that really draws my attention is going to be Dagger. This is a rare champion. It is from the Void Shards, but she does have an AoE defense down on her A2, which is fantastic to deal with most of the affinities in the game because she is a Void champion. Now, it's not a 100% chance, but it gets pretty close. And some other rare champions that do stick out is going to be the Chevalier, who is actually pretty decent because he does have a double hitter on the A1, but he does provide a stun on the A2, which is really great in Faction Wars in general, and he also has a continuous heal on the A3. Now, there are some other rare champions that I could talk about, like Steadfast Marshal, who's also decent, but I'm going to go over to the epic champions here. Stag Knight is definitely one of the best overall champions in the game as a epic champion, so if you have him, you're going to have a great time, an easy time dealing with this faction Bannerlords. He does have an AoE attack down and defense down in the same ability on his A2. And onto some other champions, of course, we have the Ursula, the Warcaster, and some other champions here we have is the Giscard, who also has an attack down on the A1, as well as a provoke on the A2, which is really great for Faction Wars. Archmage Helmet is another fantastic champion who's actually free to play, that you can get him 100% as a free to play by doing Doom Tower secret rooms, and he does have a triple buff on the A3, which is really handy. And of course, the A2 is what sticks out the most to me in this faction, because you can pretty much stun lock the entire team with this ability here. So really great in this faction as well, and we do utilize him. I think we have him at level 40 or 50, I believe. And onto the legendary champions. Now, there are a lot of great champions here that you can use for sure. Pretty much any legendary champion here you have here, you can just stick him into the Bannerlords team, of course. But we have Aranda and Stoutus, and the Stoutus here we pretty much got for free, quote unquote, by opening, I think it was 150 Ancient Shards or 15 Sacred Shards saved up. It was one or the other. He was a guaranteed legendary summon at the time. And Rhonda, of course, who is a daily login champion for 7 days during the promotion. It is ending very soon, but she is also amazing for this faction. Really great champion overall. She has a triple hitter on the A1. Really great kit in general, and she's really good for arena, of course, but she does fantastic in Faction Wars as well. Now, onto the champions that I used. Alright, so starting with the first champion here, we have the Warcaster. Now, this Warcaster, I didn't really build him for Faction Wars per se. I had him built for Clan Boss at the time, and I kind of just took him into my Faction Wars just as he was, without really touching anything. Now, he is in a toxic set, so he's going to be providing some poison damage with the toxic set, of course. And as far as his stats goes, he is running at 189 speed with a pretty healthy amount of HP here. Not crit capped, so he's not going to be putting out too much damage here, but he does have 221 accuracy. Now, onto this kit here, for the A1, he does have a single hit that has a chance to steal random buffs from the target. And this is really handy, especially against the boss fight, because the boss has the ability to place a block damage on himself. So unfortunately, we weren't able to steal it at any point during the fight, but it is a chance to do it, so really handy. For the A2, he does have a block buffs debuff AoE attack that is going to be really handy against certain fights, like against the Valkyrie waves, I think on the stage 19 or 20 is it, I believe. But it is at some points really helpful and handy. And onto the A3, which is going to be the biggest advantage that I have during this entire fight. Now, placing a block damage on our entire team for 1 turn. So I did have trouble trying to place this at points that I want to before taking a hit, but it's really handy. Can prevent you from taking a death on any of your champions, so really great overall. And then over to the Masteries, pretty typical Clan Boss Mastery here, but really good in general against a PvE composition. So going down to the War Master, of course. And onto the next champion we have here is, of course, the Rhonda. So Ronda I did build in lifesteal set, which is really handy against lifesteal set in general is really good in faction wars, and so is regeneration set, so is immortal set, stuff that helps you gain your life back in general. But she does have the lifesteal set, and for the stats here we have her at 208 speed, not the craziest stats in the world, but 3,900 attack, 100%. She has crit capped of course, 203% crit damage, and the accuracy is not needed for her kit. Now she's not the healthiest. We have her at 27,000 HP, but we are banking on her gaining her health HP back throughout the fight because she does have lifesteal set. Now, for the skills here, she does provide a triple hitter on day 1. She does hit really hard, ignores the 30% of the target's defense, and ignores shield buffs as well. And again here, this is the reason why I say she does not need accuracy, because this debuff cannot resist it as far as the block passive skills and the block active skills. Now onto the A3, attacks all enemies 2 times, damage increases by 30% if this champion has more than 50% HP, and this is going to smack really hard twice. So really great there as well. And the best part of her kit here is going to be, has a 15% chance to join an attack whenever an ally attacks an enemy and uses her default skills. So she always has a chance to join in on a fight just with whenever any of your other champions attack, and in that case she can just have multiple opportunities to gain her HP back because she's wearing lifesteal. And as far as the Masteries goes, I do have her built in pretty much a PvP kind of a spec here, going down to the Helm Smasher. If I wanted to rebuild her here for, I guess maybe I could have gone with the War Master because she does have the triple hitter on day 1, or even the Giant Slayer actually. But that's for PvE purposes. Now onto the next champion here, we have is Stultus. Now this champion is a defense-based champion, and he also hits really hard. Again, going with the theme here with lifesteal set. He's not crit capped because I wasn't able to crit cap him with the lifesteal set that I have on here, and I didn't really care. I kind of just chucked on whatever I had remaining, and I didn't want to swap too much gear around for my other champions. But he's at 181 speed, 94% crit rate, a little bit off for the crit rate cap, and 182% crit damage with a 3200 defense and not the best HP in the world. Now he does have 230 accuracy on him, and for the skills here, he's not booked at all, but he does have a double hitter on the A1. He does have a AoE stun ability on the A2, which is the reason why I put 221 accuracy on him, because I wanted to have a chance to be able to stun the enemies, the adds, the waves. It's really handy. Stun is great. And for the A3 here, he gives himself a 60% increased defense for 3 turns and then attacks all enemies. So he's going to be hitting really hard in general. And for the Masteries here, I don't have him mastered at all. I didn't get a chance to do this, and it wasn't really needed, as you can see. And over to the next champion here, who's going to be a really good champion for you guys to obtain over by doing the Secret Room Doom Tower. He's so good. He's really great. And I do have him built with a lot of HP here. I do have him built with enough accuracy, be able to place those debuffs, 195 speed, and a decent amount of crit rate. And basically, as long as his attack here to A2, I should have had him at 100% crit rate, but his A2 is going to be really great because attacks one enemy, also attacks all other enemies if the first attack is critical. This is the reason why you want to have him 100% crit rate. Shame on me. The second hit has a 50% chance of placing stun debuff for 1 turn. So you guys see the theme here. Stun, lifesteal set. Yeah, this is really good in faction wars in general. And of course he has the triple buffs here, he places on entire allies. Really great champion. And as far as Masteries, I didn't really touch him here. And over to the cheat of this entire faction is going to be Stag Knight. Stag Knight is so good. I have him running in a relentless set because I want to be able to make sure I get back my debuffs quickly, which is the AoE defense down, AoE attack down in 1 ability here, and he also has a chance to decrease speed on his A1 multi-hitter here. Really great champion. If you guys can get your hands on him, he's gonna be really easy. Make your faction work really easy. And over to his Masteries, I didn't get a chance to fully master him yet, but I do have some accuracy from the mastery tree here for his stats. Alright, so stage 21 of Bandalore's faction. Now, there's a certain approach to beating a lot of these stages and waves, and you want to try to find out which champion to target first. Now, in this case, the champion that I want to deal with first is going to be Broadma on the far left because he does provide revive which is really annoying. If I try to down other enemies first, then he's just going to bring him back up. So that's the reason why I want to try to get rid of him first. But what I do here is try to stun everybody. That's pretty much the theme of Faction Wars in general. You want to try to stun, you want to try to lock everybody, freeze, whatever you have available, and just try to get by the waves as quickly as you can. And by the time you, well, as you can see here, we pretty much stun lock the entire team, so I pretty much have it easy going right at the moment. But towards the end of this fight, I want to try to leave a straggler and try to get all my abilities back so I can have it all my cooldowns ready for the second wave of this fight. As I mentioned earlier, I have this fight under control, and basically I don't need to use any of my abilities here. I can just keep using A1 so I can get all my cooldowns back and ready to go for the next wave here. Alright, so for this fight here, there's a lot of threats going on here. The Man-Eater is going to be able to put Unkillable on everybody. The Steel Skull can cleanse, can heal everybody, and there's a lot going on. The Dracomorph has the AoE defense down. So the first two champions I always target here is going to be the Man-Eater and the Steel Skull in the second and the third champion. So I want to try to get them down as quickly as possible, and I have this Man-Eater stun lock. That's why I'm just targeting the Steel Skull as hard as I can and try to get rid of that champion. But the other champions on this team is also kind of a threat. I think it's called the Jaring on the far right, but he does hit pretty hard, but he's not too much of a focus at the moment. It's still going to be the Steel Skull, and now I have them stun locked. Now the Norog is not really too much to worry about. He does put the block buffs on us, but it's not a big deal. He does have a self cleanse as well, so it's kind of hard to stun lock him in general. But the other champions are stun locked, so I don't have to worry about them at the moment. So I want to try to get rid of him because he's still up, and the other champions are not awake yet. Now the Steel Skull did wake up, so I want to go back to targeting him and try to spread my damages a little bit because I want to be able to make sure I can down everybody before they get to their turn. Now once again, I do have this fight under control, and I realize I don't really need to use any of my abilities. I can just use my A1 to try to get rid of them. I do make a mistake here of not targeting the Man-Eater in time to down him, because he does get to his turn here and he's going to be able to put the Unkillable on himself, which is pretty annoying. But it's not too much of a concern because I'm not worried about him killing any of my champions here. But if in any case, this is fine because it gives you an opportunity to be able to get all your cooldowns back while you just down him here once he gets to his cooldowns finished. But like I said here, we have the Warcaster who's able to steal the buffs, so he comes in clutch and steals the Unkillable off of him. Now, when it comes to this fight here, now this champion can be a bit annoying, but let's go over his kit real quick. His A1 attacks all enemies, has a 40% chance of placing a fear debuff for 1 turn, and that's going to be kind of frightening because if we get feared, then that's us having a chance to lose a turn, right? Whereas A2 revives all dead allies with full HP, places a sleep debuff on this champion for 1 turn. Now we do take advantage of this a little bit later, but before we get to that, Force A3 attacks one enemy with 2 random allies, places a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn. If all allies are dead, allies joining the attack use their default skills. Now, this is the reason why you want to try to down the ads as soon as possible, because if he uses his A3, it's going to be doing a lot of damage to you because he's using an ally attack. For his first ad, he's going to be attacking all enemies. For the second ad, attacks 1 to 4 random enemies, ignores percentage of opponent's defense. So it's got a lot of damage. So your objective here is try to down the ads as fast as you can, and he's going to revive them, but you can just down them again. It's not a big deal. He's going to be on a cooldown, and afterward you can try to down the boss as fast as you can. Now I'm going to let the rest of this video play out. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. If you do enjoy my content in general, please make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you all in the next video.